Hello and good evening, Chicago. The Justin Fields era has officially begun in Chicago. Let's bring it on, baby. You have found your way into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, and boy, do we have some stuff to talk about this week. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Thank you once again for tuning on in. We are going to be talking all things Chicago Bears tonight as usual. Breaking down how did Fields look against the Bengals? How quickly can he improve off of that performance? What things does he need to work on specifically? He's now the starter. He now gets to practice with the ones, with Robinson, with Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet. How is that going to affect things heading into this week now that he has officially been named the guy? How long is he going to remain the guy? We will talk about that. Plus, boy, it seems like everybody here in the city of Chicago has suddenly just picked up and moved over to Cleveland. You have got the Bears headed there this weekend. The White Sox are in Cleveland to start a 5-game series to try and officially wrap up the American League Central. We will talk about that, and to help do that, we are going to have some help with one of our IE families, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And then finally, the Chicago Sky start the playoffs tomorrow with an elimination game right out of the gate. We will preview all that and more here on Chi-Town Weekly. Buckle up, let's have some fun. And once again, welcome on in to Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Thank you so much for tuning in yet again. I really appreciate it. We have got a lot to get through tonight. So before we go any further, of course, we want to acknowledge our sponsors here at IE Sports Radio, starting off with the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you have been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, or Facebook by searching for Southern California Warriors. And then also Background Check International Business. Are you looking to background check a new hire on? Let Kit Freeman take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994, and he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him help make the hiring process that much easier. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. Go to their website, bcint.com, or find them on Facebook by searching Background Check International-BCI. And, of course, IE Sports Radio, we are available on all of the major social platforms. Just the same thing everywhere, at IE Sports Radio, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. It's all IE Sports Radio, or check out our website, www.iesportsradio.com. And you can interact with this show on Twitter as well. You can follow the show at IESRC, or if you want to follow along with my personal Twitter page, you can do that at Adam_Karnick. And then also other fun ways to interact with the show. Of course, if you are listening live here on Spreaker, you can hop on into the chat. I see that Taryn Rodriguez and Beantown Brandon are both in there. Brandon just got done doing our Boston show, Titletown Sports. Good evening, Brandon. We had some fun back and forth talking about both of our teams' prospective rookie quarterback ones going on there. And then I see Taryn in there as well. So, of course, you can hop in to the Spreaker chat, log on in and do it that way. Or also, we are on Twitter Spaces tonight. You can hop on and follow along with me at Adam_Karnick and hop on into the Twitter Space and interact with us there as well. And that's where we will find our guest for the night. He's going to be spending a little bit of time with us tonight since he handles all things Ohio sports for us here at IE Sports Radio. Please welcome on into the program, and I see he's muted, so hopefully he will push the mic on button there on the Twitter Spaces. Please welcome on in Andrew Hagenbaugh. Andrew, how you doing, man?
Hey, Adam, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, when I saw on the Bears' schedule that the Bears were playing the Bengals and then immediately turning around and playing the Browns the following week, it was just I got to have Andrew on. It's just too easy. And then to just tack on the White Sox spending the weekend in Cleveland, it all lined up way too perfectly.
Oh, yeah, it just felt like absolute destiny, didn't it?
They just apparently just up in Chicago's going to move on into Ohio tonight. So how are you feeling going into this? So the word comes out this afternoon that Fields is starting on Sunday against the Browns. You as a Browns fan, what's your reaction?
Honestly, though, it's tough for me because obviously also being an Ohio State fan and watching Justin Fields for a couple of years, it's kind of crazy. I'm always rooting for the kid. I hope he does best for this entire season, but obviously I'm a Browns fan first, so I kind of hope he kind of sucks this Sunday. But all in all, of course, I hope for the best for him all season long, and I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on him.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's going to be you're not going to be alone in that conflict. It is somewhat fortuitous that Fields gets to make his first career NFL start just a short drive away from where he played at college for those 2 years. I imagine there's going to be quite a few fans that are a little, kind of like that, hoping that the Browns win but wanting Fields to have a good game kind of dichotomy there.
Oh, yeah, and that's the strong feeling in Cleveland is, we love the kid so much. We loved watching him a couple hours away in Columbus, and, we want him to be successful. We want him to be a great – and when he got drafted, because I was at the NFL draft, and we got drafted, I was stoked for you especially because I was like, man, Adam's got a great quarterback right here. And you can finally get rid of Andy Dalton, get rid of Nick Foles, and you finally have yourself a good quarterback now. But it's one of those scenarios where I do – he plays well, but obviously I'm a Browns fan first. So I want the Browns to win.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. Well, before we get too much into the Browns game, let's look backwards first. Let's look at the week that was, the Bears-Bengals game. Obviously, of course, the huge moment is when Dalton gets injured on a non-contact play, and then Fields has to come in. But the other part that to me was just shocking was in the second half, 4 straight takeaways by the Bears defense, including interceptions on 3 straight Joe Burrow passes. That was some vintage Bears defense stuff we were seeing last week.
Oh, 100%. And I've always said and I was telling one of my other Cincinnati friends that I have, I was like, listen, you guys are going to pay the price for not drafting Penei Sewell. And it showed because Joe Burrow was heavily pressured all 3 of those passes, and it led to 3 straight interceptions. And it led to another takeaway afterwards. So it's all coming into an effect. And, I've warned Bengals for a while. You should have drafted an offensive lineman, and Penei Sewell was right there in your hands, and you chose wide receiver, and you're looking at what's happening now. You're seeing, because I was like, the Bears are going to be a true testament because the Bears have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they also have a top 10 pass rush in the NFL as well. And Joe Burrow is going to be running away for his life the entirety of the game, and that's almost exactly what I saw.
I was surprised from the defensive perspective just because the week before the Rams had just completely undressed the Bears secondary. I mean, there were two 50-yard touchdown passes where on one of them in particular, there wasn't a defender within 10 yards of the receiver when he finally scored. I was worried going into that one that Jamar Chase was going to flash that speed and Joe Burrow was going to be able to show off a little bit of that cannon for an arm. Burrow's not a guy that's known for throwing a lot of interceptions, correct? I remember seeing that he had gone something like 200 passes without an interception before those 3 in a row.
Yeah, he's not known for throwing a lot of interceptions at all, especially watching him throughout college and, his first year in the NFL. He was a guy who never really threw interceptions. One of the more accurate passers in the NFL, but I go back to the offensive line, and, that's the one thing in the NFL you have to be very successful. If you're quarterback, you have to have people in front of you who can block for you and give you that space and that time to make the throws to guys like Jamar Chase. And we saw nothing but Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith getting straight into Joe Burrow's face and just denying him any opportunity of making throws.
Yeah, and then when Fields did get into the game, the overall numbers weren't flashy, weren't spectacular. He finished completing just about 50% of his throws, didn't have a touchdown, of course, had the awful, horrible interception late in the game. And there are a not insignificant number of Bears fans that are ripping on Fields for that look, see, this kid's not ready. Look at, he finished with a quarterback rating of 27. Holy cow, this kid's just not ready. But I felt like you looked a little deeper. He had 3 passes that were right on the money that got dropped. One was a 40-yard bomb that literally hit Allen Robinson between the 1 and the 2 on his jersey, and he just couldn't squeeze his arms. Another that Mooney, he had a deep crossing route to Mooney that was just off his fingertips, and I felt like, that if they were just able to get the timing of that down a little bit better, that would have been completed. And then there was a third one that was a deep in route to Kmet that Kmet got called for a questionable at best pass interference call that wiped it out. So you flip those 3 plays and suddenly the numbers looked very different. Did he, looking from afar, what did your eye test kind of tell you seeing Fields in his first action?
I mean, it's to be expected from a kid in his very first game in the NFL. I mean, he's going to make a ton of mistakes. But also, too, like you said, he had a lot of chances that weren't really on him. I mean, he put the ball where it was supposed to be. The receivers didn't bring him down. And, that he can only put him to where the receivers can get him. That's what he did. And soon to come find out, Bears fans are going to realize that this kid's a great passer. When he gets the time and the space, he can throw the ball. And he's actually a bad thrower on the run either. So we're going to come to find to see that he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and he's going to make some great throws. But also, too, people need to chill out, relax. He's a rookie. He's going to make rookie mistakes. I mean, look at Trevor Lawrence. He's not playing the best football of his life. He lost his first 2 games in a row after winning every single game since high school. So it comes with the feel. It comes with the game. You're going to make these mistakes. And, I don't think it's, early to say, like, hey, this kid needs to be benched. Like, it's a little too early for that. You know, give this kid some time, he'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, and I especially something that I keep trying to point out to people as well is that Fields, he's literally taken no practice snaps with the ones, with the important guys like Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney and Sam Mustipher, the center. He has taken no snaps with those guys since training camp, and even in training camp, it was only a handful of them. He has been working exclusively with the scout team, which is they're out there running the he was spending more time running the Bengals plays last week in practice than he was running the Bears playbook. And you could see that especially in the Mooney play where the timing was just a little off. Now this week, hopefully he's obviously he's going to be spending more time practicing. That's going to make a difference. Obviously when you're able to practice with the guys that you're actually going to be playing with on Sunday and not the guys who are going to be in street clothes come Sunday, that's going to make a difference in the final result and the end product.
I absolutely agree. I mean, like you said, he practiced with nothing but people in street clothes for the entire time he's been with Chicago and get a handful of touches with the ones, and now we're going to come see he's going to actually practice with the ones and get that feel for the Bears offense, the feel for what Matt Nagy wants. And it should be a lot better of a performance come Sunday. Now, and I say that because the Browns' defense hasn't looked sharp as of right now yet. Have some huge names on defense, but we don't know what Joe Woods has going on. I mean, he's playing a lot of preventive defense, so there's not going to be a whole lot of pressure. So maybe this is the game where Justin Fields can look very comfortable in the pocket.
Oh, I'm oh, you have me. You have my undivided attention there with that. All right, so let's get into that. Though before we get into let's close the book on the Bengals and let's start talking to the Browns. But before we do, let's take a quick break. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. I am Adam Karnick, and spending some time with us tonight is Drew Hagenbaugh. We are going to be talking Bears and Browns and White Sox and Indians all coming up next. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back after this.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' the NorCal Sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' in NorCal sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, don't miss me, Gina G, on reppin' in NorCal sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Motorsports takes many forms, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out The Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seam, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Metello, the host of the Yinza Report, right here on IE Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Quick peek over into the chat real quick. Taryn lamenting that he wasn't able to take part in the Bears-Rams preview a couple weeks ago. I I apologize, Taryn. I was still adjusting to kind of being in the new time and new setup and just kind of getting everything there and getting everything set up that way. But we will definitely work something out here in the near future. I am sure of it. Yeah, the Chargers don't play the Bears this year, but we'll figure something out. There will be opportunities for Los Angeles and Chicago cross sports talk at some point. And then Brandon chiming in that the Bears have an amazing QB now. I hope so. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm just dying to see that. And all right, as we come back, welcoming back in Andrew Hagenbaugh. He is, of course, the host of the State of Ohio Sports here on IE Sports Radio. So now we talked about the Bengals-Bears game last week. Let's look forward to Bears-Browns a little bit. How are the Browns feeling coming into this? And first off, how is Baker Mayfield's shoulder?
I mean, it doesn't seem to be bothering him at all. I mean, there's a video swirling around Twitter and stuff, and I think I reposted it on my personal page. But it's when they did a reverse with Anthony Schwartz, and as soon as Schwartz is coming around where Baker is, he just drives the defender straight to the ground with his right shoulder only, and his left shoulder is just dangling off to the side, and he just throws the guy over. He's like, I did that one-handed or whatever. He's like, I pancaked that guy with one arm, and it's funny because all the defensive guys are like, Baker, please don't do that. Like, we need you. Please do not do any kind of tackling. Don't do any kind of movements like that. Like, we get it. You're excited. You're hyped up, but please don't need to injure yourself.
Yeah, I think I heard Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk this week earlier. He thought, quarterbacks, if you throw an interception or if there's a turnover, just get off the field. There's no reason for you to try to make a play. You are too valuable. Just get off the field before you get hurt.
No, I actually 100% agree because quarterbacks are the number one priority on a football team, and if you lose your quarterback, that's game over. I mean, it makes such a significant difference. And when he made that play, I was like, oh my God! I was like, please don't do that ever. I get it. You're on adrenaline. You're hyped up, but please don't break your shoulder more than it is already.
No kidding. So the Browns come into this game. They are 1-1, a win over the Texans last week, a loss in week 1 against Kansas City. And so how are you as a Browns fan and as a Browns observer feeling about the team 2 weeks in?
I feel really good, but also I have my concerns. So week 1, we looked extremely phenomenal against Kansas City. I mean, in order to beat Kansas City, you have to play the most perfect game of football, and the Browns did that up until the Nick Chubb fumble and the Jamie Gillen fumble. And up until those 2 points where those led to scores, one a field goal, one a touchdown, that was a turning point. But other than that, the Browns played the most perfect game of football. And I know people want to talk about the Baker interception, but he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds, and he ended up getting tripped up at the very end of his throw, and obviously he couldn't get enough onto the throw to get it out of bounds, so it got picked off. But there was nothing that he could really do in that kind of situation. He was trying to make the right play, but it didn't turn out to the way that we wanted it to, and we ended up losing, which, I mean, it's tough to beat the Chiefs, especially on the road. But it showed us where we can be and where we are, and it showed us that we could compete. And going into week 2, again, the defense has me really worried. The offense I'm not really worried about at all. The offense is looking very, very solid, very good. But the defense is what has me concerned.
Yeah, talk about that defense a little bit, because from afar, that was one of the defenses that was kind of being viewed at, hey, this is a defense that could carry a team into a deep postseason run. And it feels like, I mean, obviously you start off with the Chiefs. They're going to make, Patrick Mahomes is going to make any defense look bad. But even the Texans with Tyrod Taylor and then eventually Davis Mims at quarterback, they were able to hang in that game a lot longer than people expected. So what's going on with the defense there in Cleveland?
Well, a lot of it has to do, again, with a lot of new guys joining the system. Greg Newsome, John Johnson, Troy Hill, Malik McDowell. You have so many new guys coming in, Anthony Walker. And then you're mixing them in with guys who came in that were injured. Grant Delpit, who was injured last season. Greedy Williams, who was injured. Denzel, who missed half a season last year, but, played great the first game and was average this past game. But, lots of new people learning a new system. And a lot of it, too, is we're kind of concerned with what Joe Woods is doing. It looks like he's playing a lot of a preventive defense, and the corners and the safeties are giving up lots of space, especially in the middle, and quarterbacks are making plays through the middle. And we're kind of getting angry at them like, hey, stop playing preventive and play more aggressive. You have guys who can be aggressive now. You don't have Andrews and Dejo in the backfield getting burned every play. So you can be aggressive, and you have literally, just like the Bears, you have one of the best front seven on the defense in the NFL. You have Jadeveon Clowney. You have Myles Garrett. You have Malik McDowell. You have Andrew Billings. You have a lot of these guys that can really make plays and really get to the quarterback, but yet you're sitting there playing prevent defense, and you're just playing soft defense, and it's not working.
Yeah, I will say coming into this week, Garrett and Clowney are two guys I am not looking forward for the Bears' offensive line to have to face. I mean, Jason Peters had an improved week last week against the Bengals. He is still a 39-year-old tackle that just a couple months ago was on a boat fishing, not getting ready to play football. The Bears are still banged up along the offensive line. I am not looking forward to seeing Garrett and Clowney out there. Are there things? So are you saying there are things scheme-wise that the Browns are choosing to do that kind of puts them at a disadvantage?
A little bit, yeah. Like you said, you should be a little worried about Clowney and Myles Garrett, because no matter what they play, I mean, those two are some of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and no matter what, they will always get to the quarterback, no matter who's blocking them. And, I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. I mean, towards the end of the game when the Browns got the ball back before Baker threw the interception, Clowney and Myles Garrett sandwiched Patrick Mahomes at the same time, and I don't think he felt good after that one. So, that's one thing that Fields has to worry about is those two just darting straight for him at the same time and just like, oh, no, here we go. But the scheme-wise, it's more or less for the secondary and more of the linebackers, because it seems like we're too deep and not close enough to the line of scrimmage. I mean, looking at the 1-yard touchdown pass, I mean, our corners were literally halfway in the end zone, and all they had to do was just throw a little screen pass and walk in the end zone. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's a goal line play. Everyone needs to be on the line, and you're sitting there halfway. You have your players halfway in the end zone. Like, were you running a big sky defense? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're 1 yard away. So it was very concerning. I was like, what is Joe Woods? What is he got going on? And it's like, just a couple years ago with the Rams, he had one of the best defenses in the NFL, the number 2 and 3 defense in the NFL that went to the Super Bowl. And here he comes to Cleveland, and he's playing prevent defense when he was playing aggressive in L.A. So it's like, dude, you have the same players you did in L.A. and Troy Hill and John Johnson. You know how they work. Get aggressive.
So as we look to this game, then what do you see as the Browns' game plan to try to beat the Bears for, shockingly, the first time since 2005?
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Now, admittedly, they've only played 3 times since then, but yeah, it's been 16 years.
Oh yeah. But the game plan for me, at least, is, like I said, aggressive on defense. I mean, you don't have to worry about the defensive line. They'll do their job easily. But when it comes to the linebackers and the safeties and the corners, you might have to play a lot of the game man-to-man, especially with guys like Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson, who are very good receivers. I will not. Obviously, Allen Robinson, one of the best in the NFL. It's not top 5 in the NFL at this point. And Darnell Mooney, a great wide receiver too. So for me, it's for the majority of the game, you might have to man up and play man-to-man instead of playing the prevent, letting them have a couple yards of space. So, but other than that, the game of football is different no matter what you play. So maybe for a rookie like Justin Fields, maybe you want to play a prevent defense. Maybe you don't. So, well, I mean, we'll see what happens because we have to also make sure, because Justin Fields is a great running quarterback. And like I said earlier, he can throw on the run. He reminds me of a taller version of Kyler Murray almost.
Yeah, and I was looking before the show. The last 20 first-round quarterbacks in their first start have a grand record of 7, 12, and 1. So obviously history's not exactly on the Bears' side on this one, but I'll be honest, I like hearing the sound of trying to play man defense against the Bears wide receivers because that allows for some deeper shots, some potential for some deeper shots down the field. And with Fields' cannon of an arm, I like trying to take advantage of that a little bit. The Bears have been just so bad at trying to take explosive plays that if you're playing a man defense, I hope the Bears then are able to take advantage and try to spread the field out a little bit and take some deeper shots a little bit there. And then offensively for the Browns, obviously you're dealing with a little bit of an injury with Baker Mayfield with his non-throwing shoulder. Odell Beckham has been hurt. Do they know yet, is he going to play this week or is Beckham out again? And then how do you just try to attack if you're the Browns offense this week?
So it has been confirmed that Odell Beckham is ready for week 3. This was the original plan for him to come back at around this time. So Stefanski has come out and has already mentioned that Odell should be ready to go for this week. So obviously Landry going out to IR for the next 2 weeks for his injury. We lose him, but we also get back OBJ, so it's not a total loss. But for the attack, it's the same as normal. You start off by dominating the run game, and then you allow Baker to do his thing and play action and let him go from there. I mean, he's got the best completion rate percentage in the NFL right now at 81%, only missing nine total passes. He's like 40 for 49 for 550 yards. So he's having a good season so far. But a lot of that is due to the run game being insanely dominant and, Kevin Stefanski's amazing mind as a play-action coach.
All right, and then real quick here is we're finishing up with Drew Hagenbaugh from the state of Ohio Sports, kind enough to join in and sit in here tonight on Chi-Town Weekly with us. Real quick before we wrap up here, Drew, so we're watching the game on Sunday. You will know that the game is going the Browns' way if what is happening out on the field?
If definitely the defense gets going. That's the biggest concern for me. This game is all about defense for both teams. If the the better defense wins, in my opinion.
Okay, so if the defense is handling Fields and the Bear and David Montgomery and et cetera, you'll be feeling well then. Yeah, I've got to say I am worried also about the defense, about the Bears defense kind of reverting back to week 1 and giving up some of those deep bombs, especially to somebody like OBJ if he comes back. So I'm always a little worried there. The Bears nose tackle, Eddie Goldman, practiced in a limited fashion again this week. He has yet to play this season. The Bears' run defense, though, has done surprisingly well so far to start the year, but I would agree, if defense is going to kind of be the key to this game, whichever defense can come out and kind of establish itself early in this game, hopefully will lead to that team succeeding and ultimately that team winning. So let's get right down to it. Any idea how are you thinking this one goes? What, you got a final score yet here on Wednesday?
As of right now, I'm thinking it's going to be a close one. I have 26-24 Cleveland.
That is close. Somebody hitting a game-winning field goal at the end, or somebody comes up short.
I think it's going to be somebody comes up short, and I think it might be a Fields coming up short as well, which would hurt, but I just feel like he's going to make one of those rookie mistakes.
Yeah, and a defense like Cleveland, you could see that happening. Right now, I have to lean towards Cleveland a little bit. I know Larry has us do the our IE picks every week, and we are required by law to always go with our team. This week, I don't know. I think if I'm picking it straight up, right now I'm leaning towards Cleveland, but knowing that Fields is going to be out there at quarterback, I feel better than if it were Dalton out there. I'd feel like if it were Dalton, it would just be one of those, find a way to make it look good, but ultimately you still lose. Fields, who knows? It could be amazing. It could be rookie disaster to start, but it's certainly going to be a ton of fun to watch this Sunday. Well, Drew, thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday evening tonight to give us a more in-depth look at both the Bengals and the Browns. Really appreciate it, man.
Oh, no, and of course, and I really appreciate you having me on here. And, you know, I've been on a little hiatus for a while, but it feels good to get back into the game and get things going again. So thank you for having me on and doing this.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. That is Drew Hagenbaugh. He does the State of Ohio sports here on IE Sports Radio. He also handles all things soccer for us here. He does the soccer scoreboard show here for us. Drew, give everybody your Twitter handle real fast so everybody knows where to follow you.
So you guys can follow me on my Twitter at Drew Hagenbaugh. That's DREWHAGENBAUGH. That's my personal Twitter page. And then obviously in my bio, you can obviously follow me on the Soccer Scoreboard Show at SSISR. And you can follow me on the State of Ohio Sports Show at State of IESR. So be sure you guys go follow me on there and check out what we got for Ohio and soccer.
All right, be sure to do that. All right, so we are going to take one more quick break here, and then when we come back, we will jump into a completely different world here. We will be talking a little bit of hoops. The Chicago Sky begin the WNBA playoffs tomorrow. We will do a quick preview on that, as well as just some final parting notes before we get out of here. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Back after this.
Shores of the Puget Sound to the rushing waters of the Columbia River, stretching across the Great Cascades, and on IE Sports Radio lives the Northwest Territory Sports Show, hosted by me, Brad Buckingham. On this show, I cover all the great collegiate and professional sport teams that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Mariners, Sounders, and even the Seattle Kraken. But I can't forget all of that is good in Oregon either. I got the Trailblazers, the Oregon Ducks, the Beavers, even the Timbers, and much, much more. You can listen to the show every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, noon to 1 p.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Notorious Law.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back in for one more segment here on Chi-Town Weekly. Thank you again to Drew for hanging out there with us for a couple of segments as we talked a ton of football. Bears, Bengals, Browns. Didn't even get into the fact that the White Sox are going to be in Cleveland for this entire weekend. The Sox were rained out today out in Detroit. They start a 5-game series with the Tribe this weekend. All they got to do is take one game and they will clinch the American League Central out there in Cleveland. So it's going to be a good weekend for the White Sox here coming up. They've got a doubleheader tomorrow, 2 7-inning doubleheaders tomorrow, and then traditional games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So one of those nights is going to be a good night for the Sox. And then before we get out of here tonight, I wanted to talk about the Sky. The Chicago Sky are starting their third consecutive postseason run tomorrow night against the Dallas Wings. Now, each of the last, and this is in the WNBA, the first 2 rounds are both single and elimination games. So right away you get that kind of that March Madness college feel to it, or right into the game 7 in an NBA setting, however we want to look at it. It's for all the marbles. One game to determine the winner to move on. The Sky had a bit of an up and down year. They finished exactly 500, 16-16 overall on the year. Played Dallas 3 times in the regular season, went 1-2 against the Wings. But the Wings overall, this is their first time in the playoffs in quite a few years, so it could be some jitters for Dallas a little bit. And of course, for the Sky, you've got Candace Parker. This is why the Sky were so aggressive in recruiting Candace this past offseason. This is why she's here to help get the Sky beyond the first round. Each of the last 2 years, the Sky have been knocked out in the first round. Now the hope and expectation is that Candace will, if not necessarily from her play, but at least from her veteran leadership and her poise, be able to help push the Sky past this first round and hopefully into a deep playoff run. Looking at this game a little bit more specifically, and Sky and Candace, obviously this season, the Sky have kind of gone how Candace has gone. She missed significant time. 9 out of the 32 games Candace Parker did not play in. Chicago went just 1-8 in those 9 games. So obviously a huge difference when Parker's been on the floor this season. So she's going to be a huge, huge piece. Some other things to look at for the Sky for this game in particular. How is the defense going to play? During the early part of the season, the defense kind of helped propel the team going forward. Since coming back from the Olympic break, the defense hasn't been as good. The metric that I'm looking at here is they allowed 105.5 points per 100 possessions. So giving up at least a point every time the other team came down the floor, that adds up very quickly. The WNBA obviously isn't quite as high of scoring overall as the NBA is, so when you're giving up those points, that adds up very, very quickly, especially when the Sky as a team aren't a team overall that has just the one person to kind of be the lockdown scorer on a game in, game out night for them. They do a really good job of distributing the ball and making sure that there isn't just one person to have to worry about from an offensive standpoint. But on the flip side too, they don't seem to have that one person, be it Candace Parker or be it Quickly or Courtney Vandersloot or any of the other gals on the team to just, hey, this is the person that we need to go get a bucket for us right now and be the person that, yeah, this is who we're gonna lean on right now to go get a score for us. So hopefully they find kind of that killer instinct going into the game tomorrow night. It is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN2. Yes, I know there's an NFL game going on at the same time, but hey, the local playoff action, check that out. Be a part of it. Check it out. I plan on tuning in to it and seeing how the Sky do tomorrow night. Should be exciting. Should be fun. Hopefully this is going to be the start of a deep, deep playoff run in Chicago. It's a home game tomorrow night, too, for Chicago. If they win, they get to go take on the Minnesota Lynx in the second round. That will be this weekend. Also would be a tough game overall for the Sky, but hopefully we will see some fun things and we will see some good things from them this weekend. Also wanted to give a quick tip of the cat to Patrick Wisdom. Patrick Wisdom of the Cubs. Over this past week, he became the Cubs' all-time home run leader for rookie home runs in a single season. He passed, of all people, Chris Bryant with a blast against the Brewers this past week. So congratulations to Patrick Wisdom. Obviously, it has not been the season that the Cubs hoped it would be. Been playing a lot of new guys and new players this year, including Wisdom and Frank Schwindel and a whole host of guys coming up from Iowa and elsewhere in the minors that they weren't necessarily thinking they were going to have to play this year, but that's what it is. At least you've got something there to cheer about with Patrick Wisdom, so congratulations to him. All right, that is going to do it for our show tonight. I want to give several thank you shout-outs, of course, to our sponsors here at IE Sports Radio, of course, the Southern California Warriors and Background Check International. Thank you for continuing to sponsor us here at IE. It's very much appreciated. Thank you to Drew. Again, Drew Hagenbaugh. Follow him at Drew Hagenbaugh on Twitter, for coming in and giving us the Ohio perspective tonight on our Chicago versus Ohio show. Much appreciated. Definitely be sure to give him a follow. Tag along with him. He will have his show Friday afternoon, so be sure to check him out. Thank you to Larry for all the work that you do here at IE Sports. Just keeping everything afloat, making sure we're all doing what we need to do with the shows. Thank you to Taryn. Thank you to Brandon for being in the chat. Thank you to Ben for coming in and hopping into the Twitter space with us there for a little bit. Coming up next here on IE Sports Radio, giving you what you want, giving you what you need. Marcus Most-Great with gloves off. Talking all things boxing and MMA and all those good contact sports. Be sure to check them out. We will be back next week, Wednesday night, right here, same time, same place, breaking down the Bears-Browns game, how did Felix look in his first time starting. I am so excited to see how it looks when he will have a game plan tailored around him and his skill set. It is going to be a ton of fun. We will also break down how the Sky did in their playoffs, celebrating what is hopefully by then a White Sox American League Central Championship. I know last week I said we were probably going to be doing that. I don't see them losing 5 in a row out in Cleveland. I'm sure we'll be celebrating next week. Until then, everybody be safe, be good, have some fun this weekend. We'll see you next week.